Hello fans and friends, welcome to another video. My name's Keir Smith and a while ago I did a video on my top 10 favourite albums from the year 1971, suggesting that it could well be the greatest year in rock music. Well, 1991 wasn't bad either, so for today's video I'm going to share with you my top 10 favourite albums from the year 1991, and like the video for 1971 I'll do them in release date order. It's very difficult to pick favourites, so I'll let you decide. I'll start my list with this album. This is Kill Uncle by Morrissey, released in early March of 1991. And this was the eagerly anticipated follow-up to his excellent debut album, Viva Hate. And he teams up with Mark Nevin of Fairport Convention fame here, and he writes a lot of the music. And it's a short album at only 33 minutes, often slow with dark undertones, with songs like There's a Place in Hell for Me and My Friends, I'm the End of the Family Line and Asian Rut. But that can't be said for the rampant single Our Frank or the swinging Sing Your Life. There's a little bit of dancehall flavour on King Lear, Lear spelt L-E-E-R for good humour. I really love the grinding guitars on Found, 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 and it's often disregarded as one of Morrissey's lesser works, but it's still an album I enjoy very much. Kill Uncle by Morrissey. Up next, and released on the same day as the aforementioned Kill Uncle, is this. This is the KLF, The White Room. This is Bill Drummond and Jimmy Corty's dance masterpiece. It's dance, it's rave, it's chill out, programming and synthesizers. The songs here just burst with high energy performances and perfectly capture the mood of the times. It's like a great night out. The first half of the album takes you up and the second half brings you down. There's so many great guest vocalists on this album that really enhance these wonderful songs, especially Maxine Harvey on the brilliant Make It Rain and 3 AM Eternal. They just sound like dance floor classics. Last Train to Trans Central is just a rave anthem that hits hard. Graham Lee plays that wonderful pedal steel guitar on Build a Fire, and the scat singing from Black Steel on the title track is superb too. I never get bored of this album. There's not a bad moment on it and I love it. KLF, The White Room. Up next, released in early April, was this. This is Massive Attack, Blue Lines. 3D, Daddy G and Tricky pretty much created a new genre of music with this album, trip hop. This was beats, samples, reggae, dub, all fused together to create a non-stop, super cool groove. Unfinished Sympathy was a monster hit. I'm sure most people can remember that. And I think Daddy G said that this was dance music made for the head, not necessarily the feet. There's great guest vocalists on this album too, whether it's the silky smooth delivery of Shara Nelson on the excellent opener, Safe From Harm, or later on, Daydreaming, or the brilliant vocals from reggae and dub legend Horace Andy on One Love or Hymn of the Big Wheel. But I particularly like that trip hop flavour and the rap on Five Man Army. Be Thankful for What You've Got is a really good song. Again, not a wasted moment on this album. Brilliant. Massive Attack, Blue Lines. Released late in May was this album, the self-titled debut album by Electronic, consisting of Johnny Marr, formerly of the Smiths, and Bernard Sumner, who was still in New Order at this point, but both were looking to get away from those rather tense and fractured groups, and they team up superbly here on this dance synth album with guitars. Idiot Country gets us off to a flying start. That's a great track, possibly the best song on the album for me, with a little bit of social commentary too. Try All You Want, Reality. I really love these dance synth flavoured songs that have these house style pianos running through them. Get the Message was a big hit single. The Pet Shop Boys are on the brilliant Patience of a Saint. The big hit single that preceded the album, Getting Away With It, wasn't included on the original album. It did come out some 18 months before the album was released, but Bernard Sumner's fragile vocals meet Johnny Marr's striking guitar chords, and this was a really pleasant surprise when I picked it up, and I still love it all these years later. Electronic. Up next, released in early July, was this album. This is Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, Into the Great Wide Open. And this sees the band continue with their classic American guitar rock sound on this expertly crafted set of songs. Expert production too from the great Jeff Lynne of ELO fame. And I love the single Learning to Fly and that excellent slide guitar part from Mike Campbell. The title track is great too. Great piece of storytelling there. King's Highway, Two Gunslingers, both great songs with super choruses. Too Good to Be True, Dark of the Sun, just great melodies throughout, warm harmonies, perfectly polished guitar, rock, pop. Such an ear-pleasing set of songs, and I think it's a great album. Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, Into the Great Wide Open. Released in late August was this. This is 10 by Pearl Jam. And a lot of the songs on this album were born out of songs and jams from guitarist Stone Gossard and bassist Jeff Arment's previous group, Mother Love Bone, and then vocalist Eddie Vedder came in and provided new melodies and lyrics for this great set of songs. And this album often gets put under that grunge umbrella, but it sounds more like a classic rock album to me, especially when you consider how detailed and intricate the guitar parts are here. But it's just great song after great song after great song. Once, Even Flow, Alive, Jeremy, Black, what a great song that is. Porch, the closing track, Release, superb guitar solos, and Eddie Vedder's vocals just soar on every track. I don't think they ever sounded this good again. It just bursts with vigour and vitality. One of the best debut albums ever? Quite possibly. Brilliant. 10 by Pearl Jam. Released in mid-September was this. This is Guns N' Roses, Use Your Illusion 2. This and Use Your Illusion 1 were both released on the same day, but as single albums. But I prefer this one, whether it's the thought-provoking opener Civil War or the classic rock and roll of 14 years, the biting and snarling at the press and media in Get in the Ring, or the exquisite, epic Locomotive and Estranged, both incredible songs. Axl Rose was the best rock singer around, and Slash has always been one of rock's greatest guitarists. I mean, his guitar work throughout this album is just unspeakably good. Duff McKagan, the bassist, even chips in on vocal duties on the mellow So Fine. Izzy Stradlin contributes to songwriting duties. The band were at a creative peak here, and I shouldn't forget to mention there's a really good cover of Bob Dylan's Knocking on Heaven's Door, and the excellent You Could Be Mine, which featured on Terminator 2, as some may remember. Guns N' Roses, absolutely brilliant, fantastic band, and this is a great album. Use Your Illusion 2. And released just a week later in September was this. This is Nevermind by Nirvana, and this album changed pretty much everything. Music, popular culture as we knew it and know it. Its influence is still being felt today. It all but killed off those hair metal bands from the 80s. It even knocked Michael Jackson's Dangerous album off the #1 spot. How big is that? Smells Like Teen Spirit became the anthem for a generation. There were big hit singles with In Bloom and Come As You Are with big anthemic choruses too. And there was a punk energy on songs like Drain You and pop hooks on songs like Lounge Act. There was thought-provoking and sympathetic lyrics on songs like Polly and the chilling closer, Something in the Way. It was the most unlikeliest of successes. The power trio of Kurt Cobain, Chris Novoselic and Dave Grohl had ushered in the new grunge era and taken the world by storm. An incredible achievement, a great album. Nevermind by Nirvana. And released on the same day as Nirvana's Nevermind was this album. This is Screama Delica by Primal Scream, another album that captures the imagination of the times. Ecstasy was in, dance and rave culture was the scene for the young generation, and this album captures that mood and that vibe perfectly. And the album feels like an ecstasy trip too. Moving On Up sets the scene for the party. Step Inside This House then takes you to the club, and that's a great dance floor groove. Don't Fight It, Feel It has this jittery style to it that seems to take you up, and then Higher Than the Sun is the climatic centerpiece of the album. It's a brilliant song, a dreamy state of bliss, as if you were elegantly wasted. I've not heard anything like it before or since. Come Together is a celebratory song that unifies everyone, and even the come down songs like Damaged and I'm Coming Down are beautifully done. This is a great concept album. Screama Delica by Primal Scream. And last but definitely not least is this album, released in early November. This is Achtung Baby by U2. And this album sees the band broadening their musical scope. It's a reinvention of sorts, not least from lead singer Bono, who had took to wearing shades and leather everywhere he went. But this album sees the band moving to a more harder rock alternative sound with electronics. You could dance to songs like Mysterious Ways, which was a big hit. But it's the song The Fly that's the creative masterpiece here for me, with that squalling guitar sound from the Edge. There's nothing quite like it. A brilliant composition. There's tender, introspective songs like So Cruel, which I really like. Who's Gonna Ride Your Wild Horses is a great song. One is an exceptional ballad, but special mention for the Edge's guitar work throughout this album, but especially on songs like Even Better Than the Real Thing, and for me, Acrobat is another standout track on the album. He never sounded like this before, and he's never sounded as good since. I love the chilling closing track, Love Is Blindness, and this is expertly produced by Daniel Lanois and the great Brian Eno. U2's finest hour without doubt for me, Achtung Baby. So there you have it. That was the list of my 10 favourite albums from the year 1991. But I do want to make a few honourable mentions, because these albums that I'm going to show you now were really unlucky in missing out. Out of Time by R.E.M., very good album. Talk Talk, Laughing Stock, not everyone's cup of tea, an acquired taste for sure, but an album I really appreciate. I'm a big Genesis fan, and We Can't Dance is one of my favourite albums by them. And lastly, Michael Jackson, Dangerous, a superb album, loads of great songs on there. That was unlucky to miss out too. But what do you think? What did you think the best album was from my list? What do you think the best album is of 1991? Please leave your comments below. Please give the video the thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Please subscribe to the channel. There'll be lots more to come. Thanks as always for watching. See you next time.